Coming up on the show, there are some big changes in the athletic department here at St. Bonaventure University, and I sit down with not one but two representatives of the brand new club basketball team. This is Bona Sports Weekly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Some big news in the way of Bonaventure sports this week, so let's get started. It was announced earlier this week that St. Bonaventure Athletic Director Steve Watson has resigned from his position in order to accept the same job at Loyola College of Chicago. Not much has been made public about the reasoning behind Watson's decision, and an interim has yet to be named as of the taping of this podcast. As athletic director, Watson oversaw multiple projects ranging from a new basketball court to a new women's locker room. The latest of these projects has been the creation of Phase 1 of the Mara Athletic Field Complex, which holds the new turf. Watson has been the director of athletics at Bonaventure since 2006. The NCAA Cross Country Northeast Regionals will be held today in the Bronx. Both men's and women's teams from St. Bonaventure will be competing in fields of 40 teams. The women will race on a 6K course, while the men's race will distance a total of 10 kilometers. Neither team did very well in the Atlantic 10 Championships a few weeks ago. The men finished in 14th, a last-place finish, while the women were only able to scrounge up 12th place. The highlight by far was junior phenom Carrie Carr, who finished 4th in an overall field of 126 racers. She'll hope to continue her strong performance heading to New York this weekend. Basketball season starts this weekend, and this time it's for real. The women will tip off at home against Canisius at 7 o'clock on Friday. They came off a win against Edinboro in an exhibition game last weekend. Katie Healy led the Bonnies in scoring with 15 points in 32 minutes of play. Also, freshman Mariah Ruff was also able to score 7 points off the bench, looking very aggressive on the offensive side, despite playing a team that was a Division II team and everybody providing offense. The women still only won by a score of 10. They'll look to put up a few more points against their Big Four opponents this weekend. On a bit of lighter news, head coach Jim Crowley has promised to throw a March Madness pizza party for anyone who goes to all 9 of the home games this year. That excludes games over break. He said in the email that he believes this is a team that can play well into March. The men also play their first real game on Saturday at 7. They will host Dartmouth in the Riley Center. The men showed pure dominance over Mansfield in their exhibition game, winning by a score of 86-54. Dion Wright led all scorers with 20 points, and in a somewhat surprising move, head coach Mark Schmidt decided to play true freshman Jalen Adams. Adams only scored 4 points, but led the team in rebounds with 8, which also tied all scorers. We'll see if he stays in the lineup on Saturday, but chances are Jordan Gathers will get the start over him. Gathers was named a Sports Illustrated Breakout Player of the Year. He sat out on Saturday against Mansfield. The team said it was just a cautionary decision. So for the first time on the show, I have two guests, Amir Destori, co-founder of the club basketball team, and Matt Moretti, player on the club basketball. Do you know what position you're playing yet, Matt?
I am assuming I'm playing some kind of forward position. I don't know, though. I kind of float around on the court.
All right.
I'm thinking forward. I don't know. What do you think, Amir?
Yeah, you're probably one of the bigger guys we have, so that forward will be open.
Yeah.
All right, so Amir, you're one of the co-founders, as I just mentioned. Why did you want to start a club basketball team here at Bonaventure?
Playing intramurals with a bunch of kids in the Richter, I've just noticed that there's a lot of talent here. We can compete, and a lot of the surrounding schools already had an established program, and it seemed fitting to jump right in and compete with them.
How long have you been working on trying to get a team going here?
It began as an idea when we first came to campus a couple months ago, and then working with Rob DeFazio and the staff at the Richter, it became possible about early November, we put into action.
Can you kind of walk us through the process, because we have so many club sports already established here, but I don't think anybody really knows like how they get started. Is it an easy process to go through?
The people that I worked with made it a lot easier than it was. Everyone's very helping in starting clubs, but we had to budget, which was probably difficult coming from a sport that has fewer people on the court, fewer people to fund it, as opposed to rugby that has probably 30, 40 people on the roster. But after that, it's pretty easy.
Okay, so where are you guys looking to play this year? I know there's been talks about you guys trying to get into the RC to play your games.
We have 4 home game series, and 2 of them seem to be on the same time as D1 games. So if we can schedule the other 2 for availability, we'll try to make them in the RC.
Okay, cool. So let me switch back over to Matt now.
Yes.
So, Reddy, why do you want to? Excuse me, I call him Reddy. I know Matt pretty well. Matt, why did you want to join this team? I know you do a lot of intramurals, but what made you want to go out for a club team, especially for your last semester at school?
Well, it's always fun to play competitively, especially a sport like basketball, where you can play pickup a lot. You can play pickup like your whole life, but I kind of realized, I talked to Amir about it before, and I kind of had questions about whether I wanted to play, but I think what drove it home for me was thinking about the idea that this is the last time I can play on a team that has like one unified name, play together as. It's just so cool to play together as a team that is St. Bonaventure club basketball. You know, I just wanted to take the opportunity to play competitively one last time.
Are you worried about the adjustment from becoming, a student who's already busy with work, and now you have to add on playing on a competitive team?
You see, at first I was a little apprehensive about that, but Amir has been really good, and the guys that are heading it, about 2 practices a week, just kind of getting ready to flow as a team, like getting becoming more aware of how the team plays together. So I'm not necessarily worried about like my workload and how it's going to mix in with the basketball team. I mean, we play together a couple times a week. These are kids I played together with for several semesters, so I know their style of play and everything, and it's not a huge time commitment. And I think it's going to be a nice break from schoolwork, as being able to go out and play the sport. I'm not worried about those 2 clashing.
Okay, well, that's good. Amir, when you started this team, what was the process of actually getting guys on the squad?
The difficulty around recruiting kids, if you would put it, was basically what you said with the time. And a lot of kids, especially the older kids we were trying to get, really thought that it was going to conflict with their work schedule. It was going to be a big commitment. I know we have Joel Rosenkrantz, who's a D1 athlete, and he just came off of 4 years of baseball, and he didn't want anything to do with lifting or practice as much as he did in the previous years. But I shared that 2 short practices a week would be ideal for us, and it seems like everyone just bought into it, and that's it. And
you kind of the same question I asked Matt. Are you worried about making the adjustment? I mean, you already have all this schoolwork that you have to do as a student, and now you're running a club basketball team. Are you worried about that kind of commitment?
I didn't think too much about it when I first started it, and I guess the heaviest part of the workload is done with, because scheduling of games and scheduling gym space. So from now on, it should just be executing it, and the hardest part's behind already.
So what's the structure of the season going to look like? How many games are you guys going to play, and what the league and everything? How's it work out?
So we're in the league called the NCBBA, National College Basketball Association, and our conference is the North Atlantic, which holds 4 teams. It's us, Syracuse, Cortland, and Niagara. And we basically play every Saturday when we get back from Christmas break in 3-game series, both here and there. And that'll run us up till mid-March. And if we qualify, 1 team from our conference will head to nationals in Pittsburgh. So that's the goal.
So what are you worried about as far as competition goes from those other 3 teams in the league?
We have a pretty solid schedule. I mean, Syracuse is a big basketball school. Niagara's a Big 4 rivalry, and right up the road, Buffalo. And but looking at the schedule from the previous years, SUNY Cortland's been the toughest. And if we can beat them either here or there, we have a pretty good shot of winning the conference.
Now, Matt, you kind of brought it up that a lot of the guys on the squad are guys that you've played with either through intramurals or just pickup games down in the gym. How do you think that's going to affect your team? I mean, obviously it's a fresh team. You're going to go up against teams that have a lot more experience when it comes to club basketball than you guys do. That's just a fact. Mm-hmm. What is it like to have this team chemistry already before even playing a single game? It's
reassuring. It's absolutely reassuring. You know, you're talking about kids that you already know how they play. So, you know, I know we had our first practice earlier this week, but it didn't feel like a first practice because we kind of just got used to playing with each other. But, you know, like I was saying, I probably played with, had the same group of 5 guys I was playing with on my team in practice. So I think that it's definitely to our advantage that we're a small school and we get to see the same people playing ball over and over again. And I think it's absolutely going to help us out when it comes to the conference play. And I think just to add on to the conference play, I know Amir was saying that Cortland has historically been like the toughest in the conference, and I actually played club basketball at Ithaca, and I think we had a pretty similar talent level to that Ithaca team, and the Ithaca team beat the Cortland team. So I think it's absolutely within our range to take on the conference title.
Have you guys started practicing already? I don't know.
We had our first practice on Tuesday, and we have another practice, or one day. We have another practice tonight.
Do you already feel kind of a difference in the way that you're practicing or you're playing now, going from intramurals, which can be competitive, but you know, for fun, and now this is the real deal. Do you already feel a difference in the intensity level?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. When you're playing pickup or when you're playing intramurals, there's not like too much incentive, so I think people take plays off and, you know, they'll take stupid shots and stuff like that, just trying to like mess around. But I think based on the practice, everybody was working, everybody was trying to get each other involved, get used to playing with each other, everybody was taking good shots and really trying to go out and win these just pickup games we had between our team, you know, get the competitive spirit back flowing.
Okay, and then I got one more question for both of you. We'll start with you, Amir. Obviously, at this school, it's no secret that basketball reigns supreme over all the other sports. Everybody comes out to the basketball games here. Even people come out to the intramural games here, the finals. So what are you hoping that this club team is going to take off and become one of the biggest draws for this school?
Looking around our roster, I feel like we're a pretty good group of guys, and we can manage to get a couple people at our home games and get a decent crowd going, and if we can get support, that's solid for us.
Yeah, what about you, Matt? Where do you hope... Sorry, as I adjust my microphone here. Where do you hope that this team ends up fitting into the culture of Bonaventure?
I certainly think that just looking at an example like 2 club teams in rugby and hockey, those are big draws for students coming in here. And I think it's absolutely a big draw for a prospective student to see that there's an established club basketball team that's playing big schools like Syracuse, Cortland, and they can be a part of the basketball culture that we breed here, not just going to the games and watching, not just playing intramural basketball, but wearing a shirt that says St. Bonaventure University and being able to identify with that. And I think it's going to be, like you said as well, kids go to the intramural games to watch when it gets down to the playoffs. I think we're going to have some pretty healthy crowds. I think it wouldn't surprise me to see several dozen people at a game just because, you know, we kind of have a small campus, a tight Bona bubble. If there's nothing going on a Saturday, people will stop by a club game and see their students competing with the same identity as them as a St. Bonaventure student.
Awesome. Matt, Amir, thanks guys so much for coming on the show and talking about this really exciting new chapter in Bonaventure sports. Really appreciate it. Club basketball starts in the spring semester of 2015. Well, that's it for the show. Tune in next week for the final edition of the podcast. Until then, I'm Zach Warren. This is Bona Sports Weekly.